Hey y'all, it is February the 23rd, 2018. Just so you know, I spent like a minute and a half trying to stand up this damn phone. And I hope it doesn't fall. Y'all, I want to take time out to make a video. Maybe not everybody will see this video, but I want to take out this time to make a video and dedicate it to a certain person. I'm not going to mention names because it's unnecessary. Some people will know who I'm talking about, and some people will have no idea who I'm talking about. But I want to bring up a person, and I want to say, just to be a little bit descriptive, this person is more popular than me on YouTube, and for good reason. I think that this person should be. All right, I definitely respect that. All right, and I want to shout that person out because sometimes you'll know, if for the people who know us well, sometimes you'll know. Sometimes she'll make videos, and they'll be pertaining to me in particular. Sometimes she'll make reference to me, and at times she'll make videos that are absolutely directed towards me. I want to let her know, and I guess it's a lady. I want to let the lady know that I'm honored. I'm extremely honored. Thank you. I appreciate it. That you'd find it significant enough to respond. All right, I want to let that be known, and that should be the keynote of this whole video. All right, that being said, here's the thing: curiosity kills my cat, if you will. It always seems to happen. Like, I'm not even subscribed to this person anymore because of the tactics that they've used, which are kind of underhanded, but you know, you could do whatever you want on your own channel. That doesn't mean I had to subscribe. So I unsubscribed a while back just so that I wouldn't have to see what this person is talking about on the internet. But here's the thing: YouTube, they're gonna recommend what they recommend. They recommended her like a half a dozen times, to which I was like, dude, no, I don't even want to see what's going on anymore, because I don't particularly care for the tactics. So that's the thing. Curiosity got to me, and eventually I was like, dang, I'm going to go ahead and check out the video. And I did. And right now, this person is looking at my video for the same reason. You know what I'm saying? It's inevitable, so thank you for watching it. There's going to be a number of different people who watch it as well. Alright? This video, in large part, is pertaining to what we've been discussing throughout the entirety of this recent last week. This whole gun legislation thing. And some people, we've already established, are getting very emotional about it. Alright, and we've been establishing as of recently that some people are very, very confused as to the reality and effects of the situation and the evidence, and in that there is none. Alright, some people are getting real confused about it. And so I took time to make that previous video. You've probably seen the video. A lot of people probably seen the video. Alright. The thing is, I'm touching on kind of the nitty-gritty right now, because you understand you're being lied to in so many ways that it is mind-numbing. It really is. So, but about this video, I want the lady who I'm talking about, I want to invite her as a suggestion for her consideration to replay her own video, the one that she just made, to replay it and listen to it very intently. And I do that sometimes. You know, I'll look and see if what I'm saying makes sense. I want you to play back that video and see if you make sense. I want you to play back the video and see if you are babbling from time to time. I want you to play, and the thing is, you're probably not going to disagree that you are very emotional in the video. And I'm not saying that having emotions is illegal. I'm saying, I'm agreeing. Yeah, you're very emotional during the video in which you're talking about this whole thing that you're talking about. But I had to specify that you don't have evidence to back up not one thing that you're saying. And neither does CNN, for that matter, neither does 9/11, neither does the police, neither does the FBI, neither does the internet in all its entirety. I just asked Google, and they said, nope, we don't know, we don't have that, we don't have evidence. So, thing is, you're getting entirely emotional about something where I know that you don't have the evidence because it doesn't exist. There is none. Alright? If there is some, please get it to me, because I've seen all what you've seen, and no, there is none. Alright? And that's kind of what you're forgetting. But I mean, just not to get too far into it, You know, so we don't get too deep into the woods. Suffice it to say, if you play it back, you'll know that you're babbling. You're not even technically coherent. Like, you will contradict yourself a number of times, and I can't actually point out the amount of times in which you're contradicting yourself, or you're going off in the weeds, or you're doing something, or you're saying something that really doesn't apply, or just all sort of stuff. I really can't. But like, for example, just to give one, you're referring to these people who you're now accusing his foster parents, the young man's foster parents. You're accusing them of basically being ignorant monsters, right? To the point of being criminally ignorant. Kind of, that's what you're insinuating. All right, tell me if I'm lying. So you're doing that, but you're babbling about stuff where you don't have the evidence to prove. In fact, the people telling you to be upset right now, they don't have the evidence to prove nothing. To prove, I mean, maybe he was a shooter. I'm not saying he wasn't, but I'm saying if he was a shooter, he was not the only shooter. That's what I'm telling you. The evidence points towards that. But you don't want to see that. You don't want to hear about that. All right, so the thing is, I know, see, like I said, I know you're going to see this video. You know that I'm going to see that video. Understand, I'll know that when you replay your video, I'll know that you did it because you'll delete your video. And I won't blame you for that. I don't think anyone will blame you for that, but you will delete the video. Because you'll understand kind of how it's embarrassing. Now, I'm not going to go like too far into it because I could go all day, to be honest with you, but I'm not. Just name a couple things, all right? You're babbling about some stuff where you don't have the evidence, number one, all right? And if they do have evidence, well, why are they hiding it? Why are they hiding it? Why are they hiding the evidence? Meanwhile, they want our rights. The government does. All right, so you're babbling about stuff where there's zero evidence. You're going off on the weeds. You're acting really kind of emotional. And I know that, admittedly, you're being emotional. I understand that. And you're babbling. It's not really coherent. But meanwhile, you do touch on topics that I got, first of all, not to get off into the weeds, but like I said, statistically, it's impossible. There's too many guns. There is no legislation. They would go in hiding. All these guns, they would be delivered into the country. I promise you. And this has nothing to do with our opinions. All right, statistically, it's impossible. But the thing is, for example, you talk about that you don't want to ban every gun. That doesn't make sense. You want to ban AKs because you don't think that anybody should even want an AK. But that doesn't even make sense. Even Anderson Cooper the other day, he was like, dude, we should put it all on the television. We should have all the gory footage and the photos and stuff just so people know that children are really getting ate up by these AKs. Oh, these AKs are particularly scary. They're particularly dangerous, these damn AKs. They tear children to pieces. They tear a person to pieces. All right. This can be true. An AK really can do lots of damage. You'd have to be crazy to like not acknowledge that. Here's the thing that you're not acknowledging right now. For example, I'll use an extreme example. Let's say you had a little tiny little 22 pistol. Something that ladies lots of times carry around maybe in their purse. Let's say you had one of those, little 22 pistol. I'm sorry, but you want to get into the gory evidence of stuff, the evidence which you're not being shown, by the way, there's zero evidence. All right, you want to get all gory about it, you want to start talking about it, a little 22 pistol, you could shoot that in a certain way, and God forbid it could enter a child, and what it does, you know, it's interesting about it is lots of times it doesn't have an exit wound, that little 22, because it's a little tiny bullet, a little cute little bullet, it'll go up in you. Might not come out, actually. It might start rattling around. It's known to do it. Maybe if it gets all up in your rib cage, maybe it'll just rattle around your rib cage. All right, if you were to see the results of something like that, and trust me, it's happened. It's happened a lot. If you were to see the results, it would be grotesque. You would not want to see that. That's terrifying. That's a little tiny gun. So when you're talking about guns, there is no need. You understand? There's no need to separate them and say, oh no, this gun is worse than this gun. Like I said, little 22 pistol, that's a weapon of choice. By who? Ladies. Ladies who put it in their purse. All right? That'll mess up a little child to nightmarish proportions. That'll mess up an adult person. You could shoot a gorilla. If you shoot a gorilla just right with a 22 pistol, you end that gorilla's life. Period. All right? So it's not making sense when you talk about assault weapons, assault rifles. That doesn't make sense. You can easily tear apart a little child with any sort of gun. Does not matter. All these guns that are impossible to be removed from America, I'm just here to tell you what it is. That is the truth of the matter. Any one of these guns, and that's the thing about it. You can get a staple gun, put it at someone's temple. If you were really that crazy, you could hurt them real bad. Nail gun, things of that nature. You can get a flare gun, shoot at somebody's eyeball. That's not going to be good for them. Do you want me to? You could tie someone down and shoot them with a hot glue gun. Dude, that's not going to look pretty either. Alright, do you understand that there is no limit to where it stops? It'll never be enough, and that's what we're trying to point out. That this legislation don't even make sense, number one, because it wouldn't prevent not a damn thing, and even little children will tell you. But the thing is, there's absolutely no evidence against Nicholas Cruz right now. I wish there was, because then I would have to stop freaking out about it. There is no evidence. Not only that, you're trying to blame this scary weapon, even though all the weapons are scary. A weapon is an assault weapon. There is no such thing as a friendly weapon. Like I want to just hurt this person. No, they're all assault weapons, all of them. Do you understand? This is common sense. You live in America. You can't get rid of the guns either way. And we've already gone through the possibilities. No way. You put 20 laws on the books, doesn't matter. Because people already have them. And they'll have them imported. And they'll 3D print them and all sort of other futuristic things. They're already doing it. So your bans don't even make sense. There's zero evidence. Kind of babbling. Kind of emotional. Kind of don't want to hear nobody's argument. Here's the thing. Anybody's got a point to debate, put it in the comments. Because I love it. I love that stuff. I live for it. That's why I made this channel. So go ahead and debate it. Alright? But you're starting to understand that none of it makes sense. And here's what I'm going to leave out on. Like I said, you're blaming a scary weapon. That in and of itself does not make sense. All weapons are scary. Before we continue, I just want you to look up statistics. You'll be kind of surprised to note more people get beat up with fists and feet. Feet and hands are used to bludgeon more people to death in America, and go ahead and look it up, than your scary guns. None of it makes sense. You understand? Most people get shot with a gun in a criminal way get shot with little guns, handguns. Why? They can conceal them better. Alright? You don't want a big old gun because you can't conceal it. None of what you're saying makes sense. Meanwhile, like I said, those little 22s, those are made for ladies to protect themselves. Why? For maybe not getting raped sometimes. Maybe a lady's living by herself, she wants a gun. Maybe she's Kelly Clarkson up in here and she wants a gun. Well, I think she should have one so she doesn't get raped. I'll give her a 22 and let her, just have the time of her life. Here's what I want to explain to you about those AKs and those AR-15s and all those scary guns. Those scary guns fit so perfectly in a lady's hands. They're specifically designed to be very useful that way. A lady who perhaps doesn't want to get raped and she's all by herself and she knows that if she calls the cops, it doesn't matter if she's getting raped. All right, maybe she wants to get an AK, those big scary guns that you're talking about, and shoot it at the guy who's trying to rape her. Here's the thing, I would go ahead and let her do it. I would encourage it. To be honest with you, don't like rape. You understand that cops would never get there in time. They would never get there in time, and that's why the weapon is that useful. A lady can't handle big old rifles and things. She needs something smaller like that gun. We're talking about the protection of ladies, too, by the way. All right, but okay. Now you're blaming that gun. You don't want to blame the boy necessarily, because if you do blame the boy, you got to start looking for evidence. There is zero. So we're going to end up like this because you start to blame his foster parents. Like I said, you're making a lot of contradictions. You were saying one minute they were his foster parents, next minute they're his parents. No, actually, they're his foster parents. You made that slip a couple of times. They're not his parents. Foster parents aren't anything like parents, and anybody who's ever seen Free Willy knows that. All right? I mean, just understand, in the real world, foster parents are not your parents. What they are is adults who agree to let you live in their house because you're a child and maybe you need a place to live. That's what a foster parent is. There's some bad ones, there's some good ones. Some will actually consider a little child in their feelings. All right, you went out of your way to try and incriminate, claiming that these people are criminally ignorant. Why? Because they disagree with you, and so do I. But you're trying to say that they're criminally ignorant, these foster parents. You're trying to blame them now, even though there's zero evidence against Nicholas. Bring me the evidence, please. There's zero evidence that you have on him, and there's zero evidence that you have on his parents being negligent. And not his parents, his foster parents. Let us stress that. You have no evidence on them being negligent. All you have is evidence on them disagreeing with you and technically being more American than you. Alright? I want to explain this situation because you did try to incriminate these people. I want to explain kind of a logical, what most logically happened. Like I said, there's really no evidence against Nicholas, to be honest with you. He's an autistic child, by the way. I thought there was some sort of autistic awareness and acceptance around here. I don't know. Nobody really wants to talk to this young boy, right? Nobody really wants to talk to this young boy in a very long detail. But here's the thing. You got him on the hook. Somebody has him on the hook, and there's really no evidence to say that he did it. And if he did do it, there was multiple shooters. But you're not going to acknowledge that. You want to incriminate these parents. I'm going to leave it out on this note. What's most logical would happen with his foster parents, who are not his real parents. They accepted this young man into their home. He's a young man. If I understand correctly, his mom died kind of recently. If I understand correctly, his father died prior to that. He has no parents, this young man. If you can be sympathetic or empathetic at all, I would advise you to do it. This young man lost both of his parents, just recently lost his mom. He was kind of in depression in that regard. And I know a lot of people would like to make his depression criminal, or they might want to put him on pills or something. They might want to take away all of his guns and things of this nature, and that would make sense. I want to address that because probably what happened is his foster parents understood that. They understood that this young man who's come to live in their house, he needs shelter. He has guns. What most logically happened was his parents gave him those guns. The parents had just died. The mom who just died. That's what's most logical, but you don't want to hear about it, right? Most logically, she actually gave him the guns because, remember, he's a young man. Does he have the type of job so where he'd be able to afford these expensive guns? Probably not. No, he probably doesn't. He probably inherited those guns. His foster parents took him in. They have no reason to be alarmed at all, but they understand that they have a child who might be depressed. And in fact, that's natural. There should be some acceptance of that. His mom just died. He doesn't have parents. So they understand, well, he might be depressed. So what they do is they say, listen, young man, we're going to let you live in our house and we're going to respect you as a human being and as an American. We're going to let you have rights that way. You have guns. The only way you can live in this house is if we take the guns and we put them in a safe. All right? And they clearly explain that to you on the video, whether or not you want to listen. They said, look, we're going to put the guns in the safe. And let me tell you why they did that. This young man has depression. Quite obviously, his mom just died recently. I need you to take that in. So the foster parents said, hey, you can have your guns, but we need to keep them in a safe. You want to know why they did that? It's because they knew preemptively, he might start feeling very out of sorts. He might start feeling lonely. And what do a lot of lonely people do who have guns? Well, they might shoot themselves when we're not looking. So what we're going to do is we're going to let him have the guns, let him have rights as an American. He's technically old enough to be in the military. So let's let him have the possessions that were given to him by his deceased parents. Let's give him that dignity. But let's put him in a safe because you're depressed and maybe you might shoot yourself or something like that. We just can't take the risk. We have the only key. You don't have the key. All right? You want to see it? You want to take them out and cleaning your guns and stuff? You want to think about it and reminisce about your parents? You could do that when we're home and we can watch you. They clearly explain this whole thing to you. All right? So they say that's exactly what happened. I'm here to let you know. That is the most logical thing that could have happened. And all the evidence points towards that, actually. Well, all right. So they were being very, very responsible. Meanwhile, like I said, you have zero evidence. You have no evidence that this young boy, just like Adam Lanza, you don't have no evidence that he even broke into that safe. You don't have evidence that he has a key. You don't have any sort of evidence that he's nefarious online. You have none. CNN doesn't have none. You understand? And at the end of the day, you're going to have to delete that video. Alright? Because simply because they disagree with you doesn't make them criminals. In fact, you're buying into all sort of crazy lies right now, and I'm sorry about it. But you have no evidence. And you're going to delete the video, and I still respect you. I'll holler at you later. It's February the 23rd, 2018, and I'll holler at you.